I have never achieved anything. And I never will. No one ever will. I've never accomplished anything, and I won't, because nothing is ever accomplished. Things happen. Things are happening, actually, is more accurately the way to state it, because life is just naturally taking its course. There is nothing we're building. There is nothing we're building up to. Yes, life, nature, naturally compounds upon itself. It naturally evolves, it naturally grows. That's just a part of the nature of nature. But it's not an achievement. It's not an accomplishment. It's just this big fat human brain that thinks itself as apart from nature. It thinks itself separate from nature, and you know what the most wonderful thing about that is? That's how nature intended it. The desire of nature is playing out. It's happening the same way that a river flows downhill. It can't not. It's just the way it is. It's just what is. It is the way. And a part of the desire of nature was for the natural development of a brain in the human species that considered itself separate from nature. So even this brain, which thinks itself apart from nature, is functioning exactly as nature intended and in complete alignment with the course that it is taking by its desire to. There is nothing that is outside the desired course of nature or life or whatever it is you want to call it. Doesn't matter what word you put on it. Words are just concepts. They tend to flatten things. It's just being, experiencing being in all the ways that it desires to, expressing itself in all the ways that it desires to, and there is nothing that is not that. There is nothing that is not being, expressing as it desires. There is nothing that is outside of this nature. Even that which believes itself to be, which is beautiful. Nature is simply taking its course, and even if we believe that we are directing it in some way, even if we think we're directing the river, guess what the river's doing? It's still flowing downhill. It's still taking the path of least resistance. Even if we think we're controlling it, and with our big mighty brains we think that we know the best way, we think we know better than the river how to flow. The river doesn't care. Guess what the river does? What rivers do? It flows anyway. It takes the path that it knows is the best anyway. It flows around us. We try to dam it, we try to stop it up, we try to direct its course. But we don't realize that even those actions, the attempts at directing the river, are not outside of the flow of the river. See, we're standing in the middle of the river, thinking that we're on the outside of it and have this full control over where it goes. We're this puny stick in the middle of a massive river, an infinite river, thinking that we have the power to direct its course and that we know the best way for it to flow. And all of that is just a part of the flowing of the river. It is a part of the river's desire to experience that. All of our actions against the flow of the river, trying to restrict it and control it, are not outside of the river's flow. They're not outside of the flow of nature. Everything that is, it's including the misperception that we are apart from everything that is still a part of what is. There's no escaping it. There is no being other than nature. There is no being other than life. There is no going against the flow of life. Everything that is in the flow of life. Including this belief and the experience of what feels like going against it. It's not. It's not. That too is an illusion. That too is a part of the desired course of things. That too is a part of the desired experience and expression of the life that is. And that is all, and that is continuously, and that is uninterrupted and unrestricted. No matter what it looks like, no matter what it feels like, no matter what the brain thinks, all of that is a part of the natural course of the expression and evolution of beingness. So it's all really, really okay. Really fucking really. You cannot get it wrong. You can't get it wrong. It's not possible. There is no wrong. Everything that is because it is as it should be. It is as desired. So just have fun with it. There's no need to try. In all of the trying to do good, in all of the trying to flow instead of letting the river flow, we don't stop it from flowing. We don't stop the good from happening. We just make it a lot more challenging and difficult than it has to be. But even that's not wrong. That's not wrong. That's not outside the flow. We just have the choice. We have a choice, and sometimes we choose to experience that. Sometimes we choose to experience what feels like going against the flow. Because we want to. Because nature wanted that. That's fine. The more conscious we become of that, the more grace we allow ourselves in those experiences, the more we find ourselves naturally just letting the flow happen. Consciously, deliberately, and this too is a part of the course of nature. This too is a part of the desire of nature in experiencing the evolution of itself, is to more and more consciously have more of itself consciously lining up with and allowing the flow of its being. So that just means trusting. That means you're not concerned about the results anymore, because the results are utterly irrelevant. They're going to be what they be. Nature is going to take its course. Now you get to choose to allow it. Now you get to choose to allow the life which you are to flow through you, to move through you, to animate you, which actually is not you. It's a part of you, but the you that you think is you is just the surface. You are the entirety of the ocean, not just the wave on top. The ocean includes the wave. But the wave that thinks it is just a wave is missing the broader truth, that it is the whole of the ocean. So now it's just about, and for fun, realizing that you are the ocean and the wave at once, and that you are every wave, but you are also specifically this wave, and that the rest of what is animating this wave is you, and you get to let your power flow through you. You get to let your life force move through you. You get to be both at once. You get to be all at once. You get to be one thing and you get to be many things. You get to be nothing and everything. And you stop worrying about what's happening and what's being accomplished and achieved, because you realize all of that is an illusion. What's happening is life. Life will continue happening the way that it desires to, the best way. The river knows the best way to flow downhill. It's always doing that. Things are happening. Life is moving form. Life is playing with and through and as form. And I am simply allowing it. I am allowing the life which I am to move through and to experience this individual, to experience the collective of itself through individual. Because how better to experience collective than as individual? You don't need to see the bigger picture. You don't need to know ahead. You don't need to predict anything. The bigger picture is seeing through you. It's already there and it's already taking place, and you can't stop it. The bigger picture is already happening. The best thing is already happening. Now you just get to, if you choose, and you don't have to because it still doesn't matter, but you get to enjoy the feeling of the bigger picture seeing through you and moving through you and trusting. And then you just start staying here. You start staying in the present moment because there's no need to depart from it. There's nothing else other than it anyway. But you realize not only is this the only thing that is, it's the only place you need to be. It's the only place you want to be. And you have no need to depart from this. Everything is just about the action itself, the experience itself. It's not about a result. Things happen. And things are happening whether or not you think you're a part of them. You can just focus on what is and let life move through you, through this form, through the extension of itself in this moment. And then you don't need to know anything else. It is about totally giving up trying to understand results and trying to predict and create results. That's what the mind does. And the road to hell is paved with good intentions. Stop trying to do good. Stop trying to do right. What is right and what is good happens. And it is not in your control. So you don't have to try. You just do as the doing is moving through you. And all of it is perfect. All of it is right. All of it is well. And then you don't have to think. You don't have to worry. There's no planning. There's practical matters, sure. But those are as they arise in the moment. If the practical matter arises in the moment, that situation is there for life to flow through you into. And if there is an action you feel inspired towards, and you let that action move through you, and if there is no action, if you are inspired to non-action, non-doing, then that is the doing. It is non-doing in that moment. And that's it. And it's just moment by moment, and it's a continuous string. It's no longer interrupted. It's no longer broken up, fragmented by the perception of the mind, which is chopping things up into this and that, putting them in boxes, past and future. It's not perceiving the continuity that is. It's not perceiving the reality that is the continuous now, and the stream of form rising and falling. Situation, which is form, rising and falling. Thought, which is form, rising and falling. Emotion, which is form, rising and falling. None of this is bad. None of it is wrong. And you can't get yourself outside of the stream. Not really. You can't get yourself in contradiction to the stream in a way that actually binds it up or stops it. You can't. Everything that you do is in alignment with the greater nature, the force that is flowing through you, that is you. It is just an illusion of the mind that it is separate from nature and that it could possibly act in contradiction to nature. But the mind is born from nature. It is part of nature. And so even that thought, that belief, is not outside the desire, the will of nature. It's all just happening, man. This is all just life, living, experiencing itself. And we can't get it wrong. So just have fun with it. Relax, take it easy. There's nothing to stress about. There's nothing to accomplish. There's nothing that can go wrong. Everything is happening the way that it wants to. And that is the way that you want it to, because you are it. You're it. Take it easy. It's all so good.